Lo and behold, I believe his manager at the time, not knowing it had come through me, basically made a deal. I'm thinking it made a deal that we'll come, but she has to leave.
It's the music industry, baby, and the drama never stops here. Just when you thought the business couldn't get any more chaotic, here comes another bombshell. Fresh off the heels of that seismic Tyler Perry funeral speech, we've got new footage that's got everyone talking. Angie Stone's final moments on the ground after the accident that's already breaking the internet. But wait, there's more. Did you know Angie had accused Universal of stealing millions in royalties right before her death? I am pleading with these record labels as a veteran artist. Stop this. This isn't just about a highway accident. It's deeper, messier, and way more intriguing. Let's dive into the juicy details you need to know. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. The leaked footage shows the aftermath of the Alabama highway incident where Angie Stone tragically lost her life. The neo-soul legend was reportedly in a Mercedes Sprinter van with band members when disaster struck on Interstate 65 near Montgomery. But what's got everyone stunned? She was the only fatality among all the passengers in that van. Breaking reports now say an 18-wheeler truck hit the back of the van after it had already flipped over. According to state police, there was 1 fatality and 3 injured. But as details emerge, the story keeps changing. I watched the local news that morning in Houston, says one witness. They reported that Angie Stone had been in a car accident, and upon exiting the vehicle, she was hit by an 18-wheeler and pronounced dead at the scene. This contradicts initial reports that never mentioned a truck at all. So what really happened? Adding to the confusion, a white woman named Courtney came forward on TikTok claiming she helped Angie after the accident. I pulled her out of the van. She was wobbly on her feet, Courtney claimed in viral videos. I told her, "Baby, you need to sit down." I didn't know who she was at the time. But just as questions about her story mounted, Courtney deleted her entire social media presence and disappeared. Why would someone who positioned herself as a good Samaritan suddenly vanish? One YouTuber who called her reported, "She immediately wanted to refer me to her lawyer. When I asked for the attorney's name, she hesitated before giving it to me. Was she a crisis actor, as some claim, or just someone scared by the attention?" And here's where it gets even more suspicious. The initial police report made no mention of Angie Stone being in the van at all. None. 9 passengers were listed with injuries, but Angie's name was nowhere to be found. Now, weeks later, a new police report suddenly mentions a fatality, without explanation for the discrepancy. "They're playing cleanup," suggests one investigator. First, they said no fatalities in the van. Now they're saying the truck caused a fatality. How do you explain a report changing weeks after the fact? This isn't normal protocol. When accidents happen on highways, areas get taped off, evidence is collected, and procedures are followed, explains a former law enforcement officer. But nothing was taped off here. No crime scene established. That's unusual for a fatal accident, especially one involving a commercial vehicle. The plot thickens further. Angie's son Michael and daughter Diamond weren't in the van. According to family sources, they were waiting for her at Atlanta's airport. The plan was to fly from Atlanta to Baltimore, where Angie had a show scheduled with Toni Braxton the next day. Her granddaughter let it slip during her funeral speech, notes one investigator. She said her mom woke her up at 6 a.m. saying they had to go, and then while driving, got a call around 6:30 a.m. about Angie. But this contradicts the reported accident time of 4:20 a.m. There's a 2-hour gap nobody can explain. Even more suspicious? The van driver claims he fainted for 2 hours after the accident. 2 hours. When have you ever heard of someone fainting for that long without serious medical intervention? As one commenter put it, this doesn't add up. You don't faint for 2 hours unless something else is going on. What happened during those crucial 120 minutes? Where was Angie during this time? If she wasn't in the van, as the initial police report suggested, where was she? Tyler Perry's words at Angie's funeral have taken on new significance. "Where is her money?" he demanded, referring to the millions in unpaid royalties she had been fighting for. Just days before her death, Angie had publicly accused the industry of stealing from her, claiming they owed her over $50 million for 45 songs she never received proper credit or payment for. Industry insider Stone Paxton, who worked closely with Angie, has been vocal since her death, promising to name names. $50 million is what they stole from her. Over 40 to 30 songs they stole from her. This was her God-given talent. Stone's decision not to attend any of Angie's funeral services raised eyebrows. When asked why, sources close to him explained his spirit didn't lead him to go because of certain spirits at that funeral. This cryptic explanation has only fueled speculation about who might have been involved in her death. And now we've learned that Angie's children signed NDAs with the same attorney who represents Clive Davis. Why would her children need to sign non-disclosure agreements about their mother's death unless there was something to hide? That attorney, Rhonda Wills, isn't just any lawyer. She's a television personality who appears on court TV and hosts a show called Relative Justice, a program that resolves family disputes over money. Why would you need such a high-profile person for an accident? Asks one commentator. That's not the bottom of the food chain. You're talking about someone very tied into the entertainment business. The behavior of Angie's children at her funeral has also raised eyebrows. I observed the children very closely at all 3 services, said one attendee with a background in psychology. There was no true emotion with them. It was like they knew it was going to happen. Another funeral attendee noticed the siblings wouldn't stand together. They acted like they couldn't stand each other, like they did not want to be in the same area with one another. If you could look at their facial expressions, they were holding back anger, not about their mom passing, but something going on between those siblings that is not right. Diamond and Michael's strained relationship with their mother was no secret. Diamond once had Angie arrested after a physical altercation where the singer allegedly knocked out her daughter's teeth, though Angie later clarified on Steve Harvey's show that Diamond's teeth were brittle and decaying, and fell out during an argument. Michael reportedly blamed his mother for his troubled relationship with his father, D'Angelo. After the funeral, reveals one source, Diamond was reportedly attacked by people accusing her of stealing money. There's video of people charging at her, trying to fight her at some kind of ceremony after the service. A deeper look into Angie's music catalog reveals disturbing evidence supporting her claims. Documents from BMI and Royalty Exchange show that 45 of Angie's songs had her name removed as writer, with someone named Juanita suddenly credited instead. These songs were sold for a mere $20,000, a fraction of their true value. The writer's share and publisher's share are 2 separate parts of music publishing, explains a royalty expert. The writer's share is something you typically never give up unless you're really broke or being taken advantage of. Selling 45 songs for only $20,000 is highway robbery. Instead of enjoying retirement, Angie was forced to continue touring despite serious health issues, including kidney disease requiring dialysis. When I go back and look at some of the concerts Angie did lately, says a former colleague, she was doing the whole show on stage sitting in a chair because she couldn't stand. This sister was working her rear end off to pay medical bills. Stone told me he was willing to take equity out of one of his houses to help Angie with her medical expenses, reveals a close friend. That's how bad it had gotten. She needed a kidney but couldn't trust anybody. What makes Angie's case particularly suspicious is her own warning. Months before her death, Angie posted videos claiming the industry tried to harm her with a poison needle during a medical procedure. She spoke of spiritual warfare and warned her followers about the dark side of the entertainment business. Angie was found by the Lord in the latter part of her life, explains a spiritual advisor. God started speaking to Angie's heart, letting her know she was in a position to bless others. But she needed to be under his blood for protection because he was about to expose some things to her that she wouldn't be able to keep quiet about. Her friendship with the late Betty Wright reportedly strengthened her faith. Betty got to share with Angie at a time of hurt where she needed to be with God, says a friend. From that time, Angie had been very outspoken about God. The trucking company involved, CRST, has its own troubled history. I drove for CRST, revealed one former employee. I've got some stories about the kind of people I was forced to drive with. One of them fell asleep behind the wheel after 4 weeks of me trying to get him out of the truck because he was not safe. CRST trucks are equipped with both forward and inward-facing cameras, according to insiders. Those cameras record everything, a former driver explained. They know exactly what happened on that road. So where is the footage? Why hasn't it been released to investigators or to Stone's family? The 33-year-old truck driver's age hasn't escaped notice either. 33-year-old man from Texas. Yeah, 33. A master number, observed one commenter, alluding to numerology theories that see significance in certain numbers, particularly in suspicious deaths. The fact that Angie had an open casket funeral has many questioning the truck impact narrative. If that lady got hit by an 18-wheeler, there's no way they could have had an open casket, argues one skeptic. They said she looked beautiful at the funeral. If she was hit by a truck, that wouldn't be possible. I was hit by a tractor trailer once, shared one survivor. It broke my neck, fractured ribs, dislocated my shoulder. With all these people in the van, I'm shocked she was the only one who died, and nobody else got seriously hurt. Some spiritual mediums claim to have connected with Angie's spirit, suggesting she was already dead before the accident. Someone gave her a pill, claimed one medium with a large following. It wasn't what she was supposed to take. Someone close to her took her out. She was gone long before they got in the accident. Another psychic reading suggested she was in the van, but she was already gone. She was absolutely gone already. According to this medium, Angie knew they were going to come for her. She knew it was coming. The Sprinter van itself has become a focus of investigation. Modern Mercedes Sprinters come equipped with black boxes similar to airplanes. These devices record speed, braking patterns, and other critical data. Where is this black box data, and why hasn't it been released? Examine those tires, suggests one CDL licensed driver. Vans don't just flip over. Those tires could have been blown out or shot out. If they examine the tires, they'll find out what caused that van to spiral out of control. The layout of the Sprinter van has also come under scrutiny. The driver has a seat, the passenger on the right side has a seat, and then there's 2 rows with 3 people sitting next to each other, explains one automotive expert. There's no way someone could be laying down in the back, as some have suggested. The storage area is behind row number 2. One name keeps coming up in discussions about who might have betrayed Angie: Walter Millsap. As her manager since she was 20, Walter has deep connections throughout the industry, including with Clive Davis. Recent posts on Walter's Instagram showing him with Toni Braxton just days after Angie's death have raised suspicions. Walter is very connected to publishing, explains a music insider. He's the king of NDAs. He was always down Angie's back about signing those. Tyler Perry was talking directly to Walter at the funeral, claims one attendee. According to Stone Paxton, when it was time to ask questions about Angie's missing royalties, there was a young lady there going at it with Walter because she knew the truth. She went off on him about what he did to Angie. While authorities remain silent, internet sleuths have been working overtime. Paperwork Party, a popular investigative YouTuber, flew from Dallas to Colombia to verify Angie was actually in the casket. He has the documentation to back it up, confirms a fellow investigator. It hurt him so bad that he went. I never heard that man cuss the way he cussed after seeing that. The highways in Alabama have extensive camera coverage. I live in Alabama, shared one resident. My son went to college in Montgomery. There are definitely cameras along the highways in that area. Yet, no traffic camera footage has been released. As a trucker myself for 20 years, another commenter stated, there was a satellite watching the entire accident as soon as that trucker stabbed the brakes. The truth is coming. The Department of Transportation tracks everything about commercial trucks. Hours driven, rest periods, speeds. Yet this information remains hidden. Why hasn't the truck driver been charged if he caused a fatality? Why hasn't the trucking company issued a statement or offered condolences? The music industry has a long history of profiting from artists' deaths. Because the case isn't settled, everything that people stream now, the company is still getting all that money, explains one royalty expert. Just like with Whitney Houston when she died, the music label got all that money. With Elvis, every time it's streamed, every time somebody listens to it, the music company gets all that money. Insurance policies on artists add another sinister dimension. The labels have insurance policies on their artists, revealed an industry insider. They should pay for her funeral and give her children the money they owe her. Some suggest the insurance payout on Angie's death may have been worth more to the label than paying her the royalties she was owed. The silence from Angie's band members and entourage speaks volumes. Nobody talking in the van, truck driver not talking, WTF, wrote one commenter. Others suggested, the family is not pushing for answers because they already know. Paperwork Party announced he has now received the updated police report showing a fatality, promising to reveal more details. But many suspect this is simply the industry scrambling to cover their tracks as public pressure mounts. They're watching, warns one former intelligence operative. They're listening to everything. While it's silent and you're trying to get answers, there is movement going before things happen. They can manipulate things to where you really think that you saw something and you really did not, especially if it was orchestrated and planned. The parallels to other music industry deaths are impossible to ignore. This is the same pattern we saw with Prince, with Whitney Houston, with Michael Jackson, points out music historian Dr. Bennett. They speak out about ownership, about money being stolen, and suddenly they're gone under suspicious circumstances. Angie was not dumb, says a family friend. She knew these people were going to come after her, but she had her guards up. When it's somebody close to you that's supposed to love you, that's supposed to be saying they got your back. If those are the people who decide to set you up and stab you in your back, you don't have your guards up for that. As a co-founder of the iconic female rap trio, The Sequence, a member of Vertical Hold, and then a solo neo-soul pioneer, Angie's contributions to music were immeasurable. She helped develop the careers of D'Angelo, Mary J. Blige, and countless others. Her sound influenced everything from hip-hop to R&B to neo-soul. You need to understand who Angie Stone was, stresses one music historian. The Sequence was the first female rap group. We're not talking about Salt and Pepa, they came after. Angie was a trailblazer who never got her flowers while she was alive. Even her hit, Wish I Didn't Miss You, was sampled countless times, including by Ice Cube for the Friday soundtrack. As one fan noted, if you remember that song from Friday, Keep Your Head Ringing, where it goes ring ding dong, they're sampling Angie Stone. That's her. Angie was in the industry since 1979, points out an industry veteran. She paid her dues. She shouldn't still have been on the road having to try to make money to make a living. Whether Angie Stone's death was a tragic accident or something more sinister may never be fully known. But one thing is certain. Her legacy as a pioneering artist who fought for what was rightfully hers until her final days will not be forgotten. The music world has lost a legend, but her voice lives on, both through her timeless music and through her courageous stand against an industry that too often exploits the very talent that makes it profitable. As fans continue to demand justice for Angie Stone across social media, her case joins those of other artists whose deaths remain shrouded in suspicion and unanswered questions. Her words have so much power beyond the grave, wrote one fan. The truth, whatever it may be, will eventually come to light. As one commenter put it, the truth will be revealed in the end. You can run, but you can't hide. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, check out the suggested content on your screen by clicking one of the cards displayed. Is this better?